What's up, guys? Tawok here, welcoming you to the first ever episode of The Spicy Sausage. Today, we'll give you the scoop on what the fuck is the spicy sausage? What does it all mean? And are aliens real? I'm the host of The Spicy Sausage. The people call me Tawok, or Tawok, or Tawok, or what the fuck's your name? I've been a regular shitposter at therealsocom.com for well over 3 years now, and a lifelong SOCOMer. I've been posting our co-op and multiplayer community nights on my YouTube, which you may or may not have seen. To my left, I have our resident devil's advocate, Skimask. Ski?
Hey everybody, it's your boy Skimask. Folks around me just call me Ski. Been gaming all my life since the Atari 2600 was a thing. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I probably would rather more consider myself a SOCOMer. Got my first taste of that crack when I was active duty in the Marine Corps. I was stationed in Lejeune. I've been a member of the Real SOCOM for just over a year and a half. Been involved with these community nights, trying to get folks to come on out, and generally just trying to get people on and playing. Blonde?
Bienvenue, boyos. My name is Mr.Blonde, and I'm a long-time lurker at TRS, but only recently started posting regularly during the Kickstarter for HHOUR World's Elite. And ever since then, I've been more active, more personable, talking to people more so in the SOCOM community than before. I was more of an outsider. But when it comes to these guys specifically, Skimask, Tawok, and the other guys, I started talking to most of these guys vocally or in voice chat and stuff like that when we wanted to do the combined assault co-op and stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically, there's not much to tell about my history with the SOCOM community because, like I said, I've not really been a very active part of it, but I am excited for the future of the series with everybody coming out with their own contributions, all the new fan projects and such. So, yeah.
So what is The Spicy Sausage? The Spicy Sausage is a podcast born from our bond forged in the fires of SOCOM Combined Assault Co-op. We'll discuss pretty much anything gaming, and we'll touch on anything SOCOM when it comes up. The Spicy Sausage itself is a hidden in-game objective in the Combined Assault Co-op, where the team has to find a hidden sausage on each map. Once found, the SEAL utters our favorite catchphrase, spicy. Now's a great time to talk about our history in SOCOM. Like, how much did you love the game back when SOCOM was live? And like, what brought us all to SOCOM? And I know, like, for me personally, I started with SOCOM, with the very first SOCOM, around about 2003. It wasn't right when it launched, but I ended up getting into the first SOCOM with about 6 months left of its shelf life before SOCOM 2 came out. And it was because my friend Wyatt actually would draw maps in class instead of actually paying attention to class. He would draw, a rough outline of Frostfire, and he'd bust out his coloring pencils to show off the boxes and to differentiate like the towers and stuff like that. And I'm like, if you're this passionate about this game, like, I have to try this. And of course, I already had a PlayStation, so I went out and I used my allowance or my lawn mowing money, and I bought SOCOM, and it was the best thing since sliced bread. It's the game that got me to quit playing Diablo 2 like a meth head.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said, I was active duty Marine Corps, and actually I needed a PlayStation 2 to keep me busy in the barracks, and I actually had a combat MOS, and so we didn't have a whole lot to do during the day, and we only trained at night and on weekends and certain times when we had operations. And so a lot of times, if we weren't PTing, as they say, we would fucking hide out in our rooms, and I just play fucking SOCOM. And it became just like a thing in the barracks, and everybody was already into lots of Counter-Strike, and LAN gaming was already its own thing, so a couple guys already hooked up and knew what the fuck they were doing, and so another guys had decided to play, SOCOM with us, and we ended up wiring the rooms up, and some guys we just went online. Once I got a little taste of it, I mean, it was it. I mean, it was. I bought the system. I bought SOCOM, and I bought Gran Turismo. And I got to say, that one headset. I mean, I still have it to this day.
Nice.
You still have the original SOCOM 1 like wireframe headset?
Yeah.
So you were like those guys in the commercial that were playing at the barracks, and then it cuts back to the dudes on the terrorist side, like
Camo paint and everything.
Who's there? Where are these guys?
It was crazy.
It cuts over to like the guys on Marines on the barracks. Sorry, go ahead.
Does your wireframe headset still work?
No, actually, it just broke within the last. Because I started using it over the summer, and I think about 3 or 4 months into it, the lip piece had cracked. I accidentally stepped on it, and I guess they're hard to find. So
I went through 2 of those back in live, and it was after the death of the second one from the soldering inside coming loose that it was when I finally went out to Walmart and I spent $25 or whatever on the nice Logitech headset that has all the nice rubber pieces and all the nice neat foam, and you can change the different ear pieces, and this one's a little squishier than the other one, and I went through like 3 of those, and I'm on my 4th one now.
Yeah, it's there's no shortage of. Actually, ordered one in the mail, and it worked for about 20 minutes, and just it was done. And so, like you said, something about the soldering, because it was actually one of the original ones as well, and it actually had SOCOM. It said for use with SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs, and then it had a couple of other EA titles that it was also good
for use with NFL head coach.
Exactly. And sure enough, 20 minutes and it's fried. And like you said, it's if somebody knows how to wire those things, let me know.
I mean, it's just a rudimentary like soldering ability that you could
you
probably get that
say
fixed
rudimentary, but I am Polish, so there is that.
There's a brand new SOCOM. There's a brand new SOCOM 1 in box with the packaging for $130 on eBay right now.
If I won the lottery, I'd buy it. I'd get that, and I'd get like the Spectre figurine that I saw on the forums a while back.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be dope. But yeah, I also started this series with the first one. I actually didn't have to buy it at all because A, that kind of would have been impossible at my age, and B, basically my brother played it. First I saw him playing a bit of the campaign, and then he actually started playing online with his cadet corps in town. Like there was a whole clan of them, the Highlanders. They were all kicking ass on there. So I snuck in to his room a couple of nights just to try it out for myself. They were kind of confused when my brother was suddenly, hurting their ears and stuff like that because I was 5 or 6 at the time. So I stopped using the microphone.
You were that kid.
I was that kid. Oh, was I ever that kid?
I took you under my wing, trust me.
Every time he spoke up in the lobby, though.
I was 22, so I definitely took one of you.
Vote the kid out.
Oh, yeah. Probably, yeah. But
leave alone, man. He talks normal, sort of.
Vote him out.
No, man. He's good. He's planting.
But yeah, we would play that, and they were actually pretty receptive about that kind of thing, if I remember correctly. But yeah, when SOCOM 2 came out, I come home one day, and they show me they've got like the big box with the headset bundle and the network. And well, actually, I think we ended up switching network adapters for some reason, and maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. I don't know. But anyways, I saw all that stuff, and that was a good moment right there. And once SOCOM 2 actually came, like when I started playing that online, the saving grace was that you could have 3 personas. I don't think that was possible with the first one, was it? You had like 3 usernames.
No,
so then
I
have to leech off my brother's thing and ruin his stats or anything. I could have my own shitty perpetual ensign.
Okay, I have to ask, since we're talking about our original names, what were your guys' original SOCOM names?
I was Silent Sniper, and I never used a sniper because I wasn't good with them.
It was really hard to be good with sniper rifles in SOCOM.
I was Silent Sniper.
You really want to know what my original name was?
Yes, unless it's your real name, I definitely want to know.
No, it was Fucking Skimask.
Bullshit.
No, it's been the same ever since.
Mr. I'm so cool, I didn't have to change my name.
La-di-da.
Never once.
Mister, I was a grown-up for SOCOM, so I had a
look
good
at
name.
me.
Well, all right, let's hear it.
I am Did you have the hyphen? At the
Okay,
time,
so-
or-
Tana?
For
21 Tana.
my very first SOCOM name was Twisted Player 761.
Is that your area code?
No, that was just a random number I pulled out of my ass.
Jesus.
It
I
had
always
no
thought those
bearing
were
to
area
anything.
codes.
I was just like 761
Fucking
sounds
weirdo.
cool.
Well, whatever.
And
See.
then I ran under King Diablo 247
Sure.
because I was the king of
I mean, you might
Diablo
as well.
24/7.
Right?
I remember that rationale. I remember thinking, this is such a badass name. I'm the king of Diablo 24/7, baby.
I
Hey,
still remember.
a good persona is a good persona.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ski Mask, it's iconic, man, and doesn't have any random numbers
It's
in
always been used everywhere I've ever went. It's always been taken, and I have to create fucking 006 to go after it. I don't know what's
Yeah.
up with that, and yet I've never seen another ski mask out in the wild.
it. Yeah. I went through names a lot because I took advantage of the fact that you could just like create new personas and delete the old one, and I didn't give a shit about my wings or anything like that, like I'd ever get them. So I couldn't even tell you what names I used because I probably used like 40. But I still remember this time I was in a party with a guy called Ammo, and we were playing, and I was just switching out clan tags to see what was cool because I wasn't actually in a clan. I just wanted to look like I was. And I put in Meg, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, Meg, that looks hot." And he said that about every single one. And then I put in POW, like prisoner of war, and he's like, "Oh, POW, that looks hot." I think
That's
he was.
hot.
That's hot.
That was like
That's a
the
weird way to put
progenitor
it.
of spicy.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. It's been
That's
written in
funny.
the stars ever since then.
I didn't mention after King Diablo, I settled on JP Snake.
Ah yes.
Right on.
And JP Snake was the name that I used for the rest of my SOCOM career. And I didn't become Tawok until about 2004. I played Star Wars Galaxies, and it was a random name that was generated from me. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Nobody could get the pronunciation of Tawok wrong.
Yeah, I mean, what fucking asshole would ever call you Tawok?
Tawok.
You and Swill, perhaps?
Nah. Actually, people have called me Sky Mask.
Shut up, really?
Of course it's happened. You guys don't think that shit happens either?
Skimask?
Fucking assholes.
If he's listening,
like-
I want to give a shout out to that prick that keeps calling me Mr.Blonde because that's a different reference. I'm not referencing a band. I'm referencing a movie, sir. I don't listen to Blondie.
Yeah, no, there's nothing better though than creating different personas. I'll admit, in my later SOCOM career, in SOCOM Confrontation in particular, I did have a couple different names.
Has anybody ever
Yes.
called you Skimask?
I would say no, but I wouldn't rule it out though. This is one kind of sword point that I don't like to readily admit. But I did spend a majority of my SOCOMing drunk and inebriated. So yeah.
Okay, let's get this out. Let's dispel with this myth right now that most SOCOMers didn't at least smoke weed, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, when sometimes when you're dead for fucking 4 minutes after getting hit in that initial artillery barrage, what the hell else are you gonna do but
I was
smoke
outside
a bowl?
smoking 2 cigarettes. I was outside smoking a couple cigarettes, making Captain Cokes, run around. I was cooking pizzas. I mean, we all did it.
It was always a rush where it was like, okay, I died in the first grenade round. I'm gonna go piss, and I'm gonna get a soda, and I'm gonna grab a cigarette real quick, and I'm gonna let the dog out real. And then you come back and you're fucking dead in the spawn.
Oh yeah, I've actually taken the screen out of a window, so I just would smoke out the window by the TV, so that would be close enough not to miss any of the action.
See, that's thinking right there.
That's the power of
any that
SoCrack.
stuff because I wasn't at that point yet, but.
You could have been the cool 5-year-old that smoked.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. In the barracks, we had a quad, so you could just step out the door and smoke. But no, when I had a house, and had SOCOM in the basement. That's how I'd roll. I'd hang out the window and smoke cigarettes. But for all you youngins out there, don't start. Worst decision I ever made in my entire life. And I've made some terrible decisions. And trust me, I've been on different continents and made terrible decisions. I've almost been in international incidents. and I gotta tell you, the decision to smoke cigarettes was the worst decision I ever made. PSA over with.
Yeah.
Well, I also SOCOM'd in the basement of my parents' house, directly below the living room, which my parents hung out in, and I thought it would be a great idea to smoke a copious amount of pot. I devised a little, and I think everybody does this, where you take a roll of toilet paper and you put dryer sheets inside of it, and you think that masks the smell.
Oh, that's the classic maneuver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's old school. Every generation thinks they invented it.
Up when suddenly, like, is he putting a load of laundry on there, or is what's going on?
All I gotta say is I did my fair share of partying in the basement. I ran what I called OCP, which was Outsigo Couch Patrol, and we did a lot of gaming in the basement when my pre-teens. Played a lot of NHL 94, 95, a lot of GoldenEye.
This is when our audience finds out that you're old.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's I've sucked since 1985.
So we talked about how we got into SOCOM and how we've played SOCOM.
Sure.
Okay, how did we get out of SOCOM? I mean, not necessarily that we're out, because the three of us play SOCOM at least twice a week with therealsocom.com for community nights, because we like to promote a sense of community. But when did you guys call it quits during live?
I can actually answer that first. I played till the very end.
SOCOM 4?
No, I did not play SOCOM 4.
And you did not play to the bitter end?
I did, because SOCOM Confrontation did run as long as SOCOM 4 did, because they shut the servers down at the same time. Now, to be clear, I played SOCOM Confrontation from February of 2009 until, when did the servers go down? There was a point where I actually entered tournaments and stuff towards the end. People were still playing the game. There was still quite an audience for it. I had a great time. I know the real SOCOM.com, they did a lot of community events for it.
They shut them down August 31st, 2012.
Yes.
Yep. So Blonde was right. So it was that pretty much that final summer, and I want to say it was the summer that I then heard about HHOUR, or started to hear grumblings of it. And so I hadn't been out of the game for very long before I'd already kind of touched on something that was going to be something, to fill that void. And I'm just going to let it go there.
Yeah, see, I can't really pinpoint it down to one event, because I kind of had the battered wife thing going on with SOCOM for most of my days. Like, I think I played through SOCOM 2 until SOCOM 3 came out, and then the credit card thing threw me for a loop, because I was like 10, and I'm like, what the heck is a credit card? So that was a hard sell. I couldn't get a rank or anything like that, and I think I stopped playing SOCOM 3 relatively early. I came back for a bit when Combined Assault came through, and then Confrontation, like I told you before, I think. I played that game for a bit, and then I got rid of it, and then I got a new copy. I finally found a clan. I'd never played with any clan for any length of time before that, and played Confrontation pretty solid all the way through to the end. Like that, for as much as I don't like Confrontation, I played it. It was one of the ones I played the most, and we played 4 for a little bit until I broke my SOCOM 4 disc so that I wouldn't hurt myself anymore by playing it. And I just had to be rid of the demon. You know what I mean? I think I still have the disc. It's just, even if the servers were up, I couldn't play it if I wanted to, and I don't. So,
biggest fucking disappointment ever.
Easily.
Yeah, that game.
Well, besides appreciate your passion,
that's another story.
Okay, so I probably played the least compared to you guys then, because my SOCOM career ended about a month into SOCOM 3. The credit card thing threw me for a loop because I wasn't old enough to have my own card at the time. I was close, but my father ended up letting me use his card for it, which I'm guessing a lot of young SOCOMers ended up using their parents' card for that.
Sure.
Bullshit fucking, if we put a $1 restriction on it, people will stop cheating the system. Or whatever their rationale
No, I think
was.
they were trying to verify age at that time because of the ESRB was a big thing
Crackdown.
back then. Yeah. I could be totally wrong, but that was a very different time. And back, gaming went through a lot of different trials and tribulations with Blood and Mortal Kombat and games like SOCOM. Never necessarily hit the news with that type of publicity, but they were definitely part of a system that was designed to then make sure that kids weren't playing those games.
True. I didn't even think of it that way. I always thought that was their way to gate the rank up people that would buy like 9 TVs and shit.
No, because at the end of the day, they never
trying to perform that Desert Glory raid.
The multi-boxing hipsters.
No, and actually, those people still exist today. By the way.
Oh, they totally do, man. Those people never let go of that glory. So, I mean, like that being said, SOCOM 3 held me mainly on the basis of like Snipe No Cross on Devil's Road. Boneyard I really enjoyed back during live. Any small map I really loved, but my clan didn't make the transition. SOCOM 2 to SOCOM 3 killed my clan. Like half of the people were like, fuck SOCOM 3 altogether. The other half were like, we'll loosely play, but we're not going to really war anymore, and we're not going to chase the game battles ladders, and we'll just make an aside right now. My clan was shit. Our finger speed was subpar, and our fingers were meaty and fatty and slow to react. So we weren't that great. I mean, I could talk shit, but at least I don't drop donuts like Ski.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be honest with you, from SOCOM 1 to SOCOM 2, I didn't really hold like clan up or anything. I actually just rolled solo just because of what I was doing at the time. Being deployed and never actually having a set schedule kind of made it difficult to actually do anything kind of regulated like that.
That's one thing that I've always done in games is I've always forced myself to take the game to the next level in the way of like leadership. In SOCOM 2, I led the super elite clan known as Elite Hellspawn. Our tag was E tilde H. It was a very spicy clan, and actually one time, the clan, the main core of it was myself, 2 of my real-life friends, one of their brothers, and his brother's friend, and the entire group of us met in Appleton, Wisconsin, and we fucking paintballed.
Nice.
And I've never had a game... World of Warcraft came close in that some people came to my house to have beers and stuff, but I never had a group gathering for World of Warcraft in the way that SOCOM brought all of us together in Wisconsin to shoot each other with paintballs.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
That
Did you guys do like the side-to-side strafing? Did you have the dance going on?
We did a match of Iron Man, which you try to strafe as much as possible so you don't get shot like 300 times. So I guess that kind of was strafey.
Fair enough. Do some dive, some tactical burpees. Do some dive to prone.
So basically, when SOCOM 2 to SOCOM 3 killed my clan, that killed a lot of my passion for the game. And then after about a month of listening to, I think, Korn's like 4th or 5th album on repeat, the one with Twisted Transistor, I listened to it on repeat while I played SOCOM, so I have this really weird nostalgic connection. If I hear any of those songs, I immediately have flashbacks like I'm fucking, post triumphant stress disorder with SOCOM.
Right on.
So anyway, I quit SOCOM 3 after about a month. I completely ignored Combined Assault, as you guys and my YouTube audience are aware of. I've never played SOCOM Combined Assault until we started doing the co-op shit with TRS.
Oh, that's Interesting fact. I guess I did know that.
But I
Um,
didn't, and then Confrontation came out, and it was the new SOCOM for PlayStation 3, and it had the PlayStation mic that everybody wanted. So I got that, I played it. Over the shoulder sucked, throwing grenades sucked, Urban Wasteland, Quarantine sucked, major donkey dick, and that game was
damn,
just
it's okay.
terrible. I'm sorry,
Yep.
Ski.
No, I get it. It was terrible.
But
And
if my choice right now were
sure.
to have SOCOM 2 on XLINK or Confrontation through PlayStation servers, I begrudgingly admit that I would take Confrontation through Sony servers because I
hope
want
so,
the
'cause
reliability, I want the
You wouldn't
patches,
be
I
a
want the
lunatic.
leaderboards.
And you wouldn't be a lunatic.
It does kind of make us lunatics to play a 13-year-old game using a LAN tunneling software.
Well, yeah, there is that. But in defense of
Passion.
Confrontation, though, hashtag what?
Hashtag passion for our SOCOM 2
Oh
XLINK.
yeah, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you
so
for that.
defend Confrontation, you
No, I
fuck.
was just gonna say, in defense of Confrontation, those issues that you played with weren't the same game that I played with. To be fair.
And maybe
So-
that was my own stupidity. I know I traded it in after a month, and I never fucking looked back. Because at the time, I quit. When I quit SOCOM 2, I went to Counter-Strike 1.6. I was one of those douchebags that played that competitively. And then I made the transition to Counter-Strike Condition Zero came out, Counter-Strike Source. I never left PC gaming. After SOCOM lost me, I never went back to console gaming.
Okay, so as a Benedict Arnold trader, console fucking phony,
I turned my back on the console, you can say it.
and you now begrudgingly still love this one game though that just hooked
yeah. And this is the one game. If they announced SOCOM 2 Remastered, I would buy a PlayStation 4 that day.
Oh yeah. See, I think it's really kind of distressing how much you can analog this to like a drug dealer. Just like you got your hookup for like 6 years, and then suddenly he just starts cutting it with salt or some shit, and you're like, and there's nothing else. Like, I mean, you could go down the street and get your Counter-Strike, but that's not quite the same stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
And
definitely not.
It's not a console game.
some people just sort of kept putting up with it, and others, yeah, they just it didn't strike them right. And
I mean, in
they
the
left
same
console because of
token,
it.
I would have never bought a PlayStation 3 if Metal Gear Solid 4 was a multi-platinum release.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Because that's the only thing that got me to buy a PS3. I can't name another title on PS3 that I was like, oh, this is absolutely except for like Metal Gear Solid 4 and I got the Metal Gear trilogy on there. That's all I need my freaking PlayStation for right now.
To be honest, my whole family was generally involved in the decision when it came to which console we were going to get. So since
Really?
we had the PS1, and then we had the PS2. They liked the PS2 as well because it was on top of being like now the best-selling console ever. I think it was also a pretty crazy DVD player at the time. Like, it was one of the more reliable ones, and
Backwards
it was multi-purpose.
compatible.
It was backwards compatible, and we got the PS3 for the same reason. It was like the hot new Blu-ray thing, and it happened to be backwards compatible at the time, anyways, for both 2 and 1.
You do have a good point there. I do take my PS3 for granted for the Blu-ray capability because I love that.
It is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, at the time it was kind of
Microsoft-
a gimmick because, like, what am I going to watch but like 6 different copies of the movie Click when that thing actually came out?
I was gonna say, they actually, it was like their own little VHS Betamax war, and Microsoft lost a ton of dough.
I can't believe they lost when porn backed HD DVD.
How do you
Ugh.
do that?
I don't know, man, of any industry.
Because of PlayStation, and you've seen like some of the graphics out there. I mean, SOCOM helps sell PlayStations. It was as simple as that. They made it so that you could get on day one, go online, talk to other people, which was fucking incredibly new at the time for console gamers. And then to go on there and play this competitive game that was actually just awesome to play with. I mean, just the map selection, the content, the single player game, the intuitiveness of the command system in there, of being able to tell your characters what you wanted them to do, was for me,
Oh,
it was breathtaking
you
at the
guys are
time.
making me want to play this so bad. It's like, fuck this podcast. Let's play some SOCOM.
But I mean, that's just off the cuff. I mean, because that's how I felt about it. I mean, it was that powerful. It stuck with me, and
Yeah.
it was, every time I played it at the time, it was. I mean, it's one big competitor I think on console was Halo, and that was on the Xbox, and it was shattering sales at the time. I mean, SOCOM was blowing it out of the water. So I don't know. I wish things would go back to the way they were, but Sony seems fit to need more convincing to push forward with something that's viable for us.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the way things were, should we move on to
Sure.
talking about how the things are right now?
Yes, maybe we should move on to how the things are. Okay, guys, so that's what has happened with SOCOM in our histories and what got us in, what got us out, what's currently going on with SOCOM.
Well, there's XLINK, obviously. And I think all three of us are fairly familiar with that whole scene. There's actually some recent developments with XLINK that I find interesting. Maybe a bit of a conflict of interest in that regard, but XLINK is seeing an uptick in players, I think, recently. More consistently, we're seeing 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50 people online at any given time.
Absolutely.
But also Combined Assault sees a fair few numbers now and then. Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, it's crazy when you look at it. Just a year ago, if you fired up XLINK at even like 1 a.m, as early as 1 a.m. is, you could fire up XLINK and there'd be like 2-3 people playing. But like, and like I hesitate
When
to
was
attribute.
that? I've never seen that.
Oh, it was a while ago.
Oh, really? Because like when I said, when I first came to TRS, it was for XLINK and HHOUR eventually.
I was gonna say, if it was way back then, it must be, because every time I've ever logged on, I mean, 3 a.m. now, we're getting like 40 sometimes. It's weird.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, just 3 years ago, if you logged on, like right now at 12:30 on a Monday night, there might only be like 2 or 3 people. I bet if we opened it right now, there's like 30 or 35 people in XLINK.
Absolutely. It's still small potatoes. Like Halo 2 has constantly had hundreds of people playing that because they knew about XLINK probably since day one. And now that Halo 2, like, it had its server shut down not too long ago as well. So there's still hundreds of people playing that on the original Xbox. So we still got a bar, like a milestone to hit if we can get up to the point where we're competing with them again. I don't mean to make it an us versus them kind of thing, but it would be nice to see that many people playing.
Well, sure. I mean, and for some of us, it's Tuesday morning at 12:30, and 34 players. I mean, playing SOCOM too. I mean, the numbers are there.
Is that many are online on right now?
Right now.
No kidding. How many?
There you go.
32.
So I mean, like, and that's the thing. I mean, we're obviously not a production game that's like hot shit right now or whatever, but it's like for a game where you need to buy the old hardware, you need to use a LAN tunneling software. That's a big deal to me. Like 3 years ago, I would have never imagined to actually see 2 running lobbies. The other night we played, there were 2 full lobbies and a fucking respawn going.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I would not have imagined this a couple years ago when I first heard of XLINK and I first thought of like all the hoops that you had to jump through to do this. I was like, I had sincere doubts that it was ever going to take off, even to the point that it's at now. And that's, I don't know, comparatively or relatively, it is high in numbers, but at the same time, it's also, there's a long way to go.
Well, and to counter that point a little bit, I was just speaking with somebody in the PS4 groups, one of the SOCOM groups, and I just had to let them know that, and this is honest truth, it only took me 21 minutes to hook this thing up and get ready, and from start to actually in the game playing. I mean, this thing was fast.
I think the process has been simplified. Like, I had to do the network bridge with my GitHub. I had to workshop my connection because of issues with my router and issues with
Sure.
getting XLINK to work and issues with which orb to set up. I've still got the shortcuts for all like the orbs back when that was relevant, and it's not anymore.
Sure.
Now, like, it wasn't long ago that there was no orb tray to just switch from the thing. Like, you had to turn XLINK off and go and start up the thing fresh
Sure.
with like a different target. Is weird.
I still feel like at some point we need to actually explain XLink to people. I mean, you still play SOCOM through your PS2 that's hooked to your TV. It's just you hook your Ethernet cord into your PC as if it's going to be connected to the internet, and then there's just a piece of software running on your computer at the same time, and away you go.
It's weird. I don't know. I still have to grapple daily with the fact that I don't really understand how electricity works because I'm a moron. But
who does understand electricity?
The fact that you can plug this thing into a laptop nowadays and basically replicate what a network adapter did, or what the DNAS and all that stuff did. It all not exactly replicate it, but basically get you to the same destination and get you doing the same thing that you wanted to do back then. It is crazy.
And I mean, that might be a good time to mention, are those guys that are working on the SOCOM private server in the TRS forums, like, are they making a thing where one day we're going to be able to just click online and we're going to have our ladders back? Like, that's my understanding. We're going to have it all.
You're going to connect, you're actually going to click online and it's going to go online, yes.
I think, it'll definitely simplify the process of getting online. You're not going to need to fiddle around with something like XLink, hopefully.
No, absolutely not. That is the ultimate goal.
I don't know where they would host ranks or anything like that. I don't know how that would work, but then again, I don't know how you would even revive the servers the way they're planning to, so that's all probably past me.
Smarter people than us have tried.
Well, the thing is there's a couple different groups doing a couple different efforts, and a lot of that stuff is kind of off into the future, and it takes a long time. But no, basically what they would want to do is replicate exactly their experiences back when they played it. And so the menus would look the same, the lobby systems would be the same, and the stat tracking and all that kind of stuff is still built in the same way. The hit detection, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're trying to replicate this by reverse engineering the sniffing that they've been doing all these years with the packets. I mean, we're talking about them pennies. And these guys have been sniffing them and recording them since way back when. And we were fortunate enough to hear that some of these people have decided to step up and want to revive some of this.
You know I love it when you talk nerdy to me, right?
See,
I'm sorry.
I have high hopes, despite not really getting any of this fucking Star Trek nonsense that people spout out about the project. But I mean, when you see the Metal Gear Online revival and MGO2R and Twisted,
they have the proof
like that. Like, it's happened and it works, and people still play Metal Gear Online 2 of all things. Like that, honestly, I think some nights actually SOCOM 2's XLink has beat out that, and the amount of work that went into that, I'm kind of impressed, but
sure,
I don't know.
Definitely thankful for it. So, we just cross our fingers. We hope for the best. We hope that they stay motivated, and we allow ourselves to be there if they need us for support. And we're very fortunate that they come and post every now and then some of their more recent developments and things, and they keep us in kind of in the loop, so to speak. And we're very appreciative. So
should make it clear though that there's, as of yet, I don't think there's any kind of even ballpark date for when it could happen. We're still there's still
and like anything else you hear otherwise from any other sources, there's no date even proposed right now for this private server stuff.
No, this is about as rough as we just described it. So, but there is some other efforts. Certain people out there have tried to solicit some support to go out there and create a website to help maybe be a place to where we go and report stats, maybe kind of like a kind of like I would hope to be somewhat modeled or emulated as a game battles. But whether or not that's something that's going to be adopted, whether it's going to be used, what the interface, what the pages are going to look like, I mean, it's anybody's guess. We don't know yet, but I guess we'll find out when that information reveals itself.
It's kind of weird having to go through all this stuff again. It feels like the Stone Ages when you have like PlayStation Network and Xbox Live and all this shit that's integrated, and
Sure.
you can just talk to people like in a party chat while they're playing some completely different game, and we're sitting here trying to hook up this game that is kind of isolated in its own way.
Sure. But at the same time, I mean, there's no one can argue the fact that SOCOM is the one game that actually brings people together. And if there's anything that can be said for the modern games, the Rainbow Sixes, some of these other shooters and stuff that are competitive, they have smaller team sizes. Even the Battlefields, they have 64-man teams or 32-man teams, and yet you can only talk to your the 5 or the 8 in your party, or if you can have 8 in your party, there's only 5 in your squad. I mean, that stuff is ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
SOCOM's always been an 8v8, all the way up to a 16v16 where people could talk to each other, and even throughout some of the different iterations. SOCOM 3, for instance, had different sub channels and stuff. I mean, that was always cool.
I never made friends in a game since SOCOM, I've made a few friends like here and there, but I've gone out like seeking friends for the game. Whereas in like SOCOM, you'd be in a lobby with the dude, and before you knew it, you just like hung out with this guy for 4 hours, making excellent teamwork, and you made a friend. You got like a new clan member and shit. Like that happened all the time. And like I said, I haven't experienced a game that brought teams together like ad hoc like that since SOCOM.
It's also, to me, it's kind of elusive in that when I do make I've got honestly an overabundance of people that I've sent friend requests to from playing like PS4 games with, but that I don't really connect with on any level like I did when I played games with like people on SOCOM. Like there's a bunch of people I can think of on SOCOM that I don't know anymore that I wish I did, because we talked a lot, but we just never ended up exchanging contact information outside the game. But you can't really get away from people at the time with PS4, which is okay considering the fact that you're not making as many friends that are as personal. But I don't know. I find myself in that situation where I like my friends list, because I'm a very popular man on PSN, is like 250 or something like that. But I would say I regularly converse with like 30 or 40 of those people tops.
Sure. I think also too, a lot of times people overlook the fact that SOCOM itself, with its round base, one life, or people sat together and just kind of watched each other play. There's a lot more conversation happening that way, just being dead together. If you weren't outside smoking or playing cribbage like I was, you were shooting the shit, talking about this, that, and everything. And not to mention, you guys remember how long those games were?
They could be pretty long, man.
Like the thing with I don't mean to keep harping on this, but the thing with SOCOM that was kind of unique that I've never seen in any other game is you would go into like US East 3 or 4 or something like that, and you'd see rooms labeled like Pat's game or like let's watch the Super Bowl and just talk about it in here.
Sure. And, I mean, that was the time too. I mean, everything was new. People were becoming connected for the first time through consoles like that, and it was a very special time.
Yeah.
No doubt nostalgic. And a lot of times some people out there right now believe that it will never return, and I somewhat disagree in the fact that even us three and so many more out there that can still bring this experience back to you.
So you think if SOCOM came back out right now, that people wouldn't just sit and party chat?
See, I think
they may, but they would still be playing the game that we all love, because it would still be that third person round base, one life tactical shooter with that required teamwork and effort, that had a robust single player with the commands, leading a SEAL team to different destinations around the world, saving the fucking planet from the goddamn all the great things that represent SOCOM. I absolutely don't think party chat has that big of an effect on it. Now, competitively, we've already determined that there's ways to eliminate it. So let's not even bother.
I think the thing with how like the SOCOM community sort of existed and how it evolved and stuff like that is, while there are factors about how SOCOM was built and how it was played and stuff like that that factored into how people acted on it, I think it was also, like you said, a product of the time. Like, this was the genesis of console, like online gaming. Whereas on PC, people were already sort of acclimatized to this sort of thing, and they were already rocking TeamSpeak and stuff like that. And that was, I think, party
Even
chat is just a
CS
natural evolution of
1.6
that.
had voice built in at some point.
Yeah.
Well, sure, and like I said, I definitely made sure I referenced console gaming. I mean, SOCOM itself was always a console game. I wasn't ever a PC gamer. I still am not. And I think a lot of SOCOMers themselves are not. Some of them did make the jump, of course. It's been a long, long stretch of years.
That was a really hard sell for our next topic, HHOUR. Right? Like, think of the people who bought PCs because they were SOCOM fans. And
That was a saucy segue, I'll give you that one.
I mean, if it's one of those
spicy.
deals, what made HHOUR worse? The fact that the game never really delivered on what it was promised, or the fact that we all invested in a dream of something to be awesome and great and spectacular, and it just failing miserably.
Yeah, I think personally, from my perspective, I think it was like one big if multiplied into like 15 different ifs, where the promise.
So special.
We were always like 5 or 6 promises away from the one that got us what we wanted, and I suppose even if they did promise the world with the Kickstarter, it doesn't mean it would happen. But I
didn't even watch all the videos for the Kickstarter. SOCOM had just been shut down. It was done in everybody's opinion. Sony wasn't going to do it. And all of a sudden, here was this game that was like made by one of the OGs, or, was one of the creative directors who was part of, the original, concept and everything. Here he is. He's going to deliver this thing that we all love. And it's just, to me, I was already hooked. That's it.
Yeah, I think this was one of my first big grapples with like the idea of hype and the idea of disappointment and stuff like that.
Sure.
I didn't pay attention to how like games were developed back in like the PS2 or even the PS3 days. Generally, I just sort of saw a game come out and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, okay, that was cool. And getting to see like the development process, I think HHOUR was one of the first few games that I actually looked into it like that.
Sure.
I think it definitely colored my opinion of how the game would turn out, and
definitely gave you a personal connection to it, I would imagine.
Yeah, personal connection, and I think
David was very personal. David was very personal when he spoke to all of us, and kind of clued us in on like his world and what he was going through. I remember there was a lot of humility about him, about his capabilities, software wise, what he did, what he didn't know. I mean, he was very just honest and forthcoming about a lot of things that, like I said, it wasn't, I checked in from time and it was like, they got this. It was just, I was so hopeful.
I think the story of the Kickstarter as well, how it basically almost didn't happen. It almost didn't come to completion, and then the last hurrah at the end made it happen, and they even got 50,000 extra. It definitely. It was like that seemed like a victory for the community in itself at the time.
Absolutely.
It was like people didn't think it was. Wasn't entirely convinced that there were enough people there to make this game happen, and that at that time I thought that was the biggest indicator that I was wrong at the time. And I don't know. I think
you were on board, like full steam, right?
Yeah. Hashtag full steam ahead. But I was. I don't think it was about numbers.
God.
After
full steam ahead, BB.
It was just about what kind of roadblocks they would face, and could the people in the development team handle them? And I guess they couldn't, especially since the number of people in the development team started steadily declining.
Sure. Okay. So real talk. after the Kickstarter had sold and they announced they were good to go, I checked out for months, man. I didn't even sign up for a fucking account. I don't even remember. 2013 maybe. And I
Really?
want
So
to
you
say
just let it go and you didn't check in on it?
I didn't have to. David Sears had it.
He
I
had
checked. I
in the
checked in
back.
on
You were
it.
that trusting in David Sears.
Okay.
David
Okay.
will
Listen to
help.
me first. SOCOM was dead. It was gone. They shut down all the servers. Mag was down. SOCOM was down. SOCOM 4. I guess apparently people played that still. That was down. A few months later, or it felt like only a few months. It wasn't very long. I think I was just in college, and sure enough, here it is. This is the game that's going to be the game. And here's the guy who was part of the game.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
a creative director is
I
no programmer, sure.
at that
But
point, SOCOM isn't dead. I'd say SOCOM resuscitated when the Kickstarter finished, but it was in a coma. But you're not going to be in the
no,
room.
I wasn't
You're not
debating
going to
on
be
when.
in the room for the whole until they wake up. You're not going to be there like, Adrian, I just want to read you this poem. You're not doing that for like 2 years. You know what I
No,
mean? You got to check out eventually. It was such a concerted effort
well,
from
not only that, but like I gave what I was going to give, which was the $60 that I was going to give to buy a brand new video game for my PlayStation 4. That was the
yeah
going rate for a PlayStation 4 game, so that's what I decided to donate to the project. Because I
yeah.
figured, you know what? If anything, they could have my money up front.
Yeah, I donated. I say paid. I donated 50 for the for the PlayStation Warrior tier, which is
Sure. I mean, they
gonna
had
happen.
fucking tiers for anybody who didn't know. But
Yeah,
anyways, with all that being said, it wasn't that I checked out this whole time because David had it. It was that I checked out for long enough to come in to see all of a sudden that, wait a minute, here's a blog update every other month or whatever, because he was very sporadic with his very thorough updates. And if you guys remember, he had some very in-depth, like when he was working on the level and the proof of concept, a lot of his blog entries were very long and thought out and stuff. So there was
yeah,
enough for me to check in and go, okay, I got it. Now back to college and work full time and school full
yeah.
time. And I did that every other month or two until what was it, August of 2014, I think. And then all of a sudden, I mean, the rest is history, right? Do we even need to go any further?
I don't
I
know.
mean, there's still the lingering prospect that HHOUR could make it to PS4.
It could, but at this point, first of all, I'm wondering if they're gonna remember to give me my copy. A
That's
and
a
B.
really good question.
I'd also like a copy B.
I mean, if they do, if they actually like honor my donation and give me a copy, I'll give it a shot, man. Because I mean, I paid $50 for it. I gotta eventually actually give this game a go. But
I
I'm
mean,
not
yeah,
gonna.
$50.
I'm not gonna pay another $11 to try it on a PC that like my shitty potato machine
What do you think? I'm some
isn't gonna
kind of
do this game justice.
moron? I mean, yeah, I paid for it too. I want to play it, so let's get it up, huh?
If it ends up on PS4, I'm hoping that means Sony has stamped it with their seal of it's okay.
And if you guys have heard, there's this other thing called Project Confrontation out there, and I know this is made by a group of folks who are kind of going low and slow.
Links will be in the description for anybody who wants to check out any of the stuff we've talked about so far. Continue, Skip.
Absolutely. I mean, this other like I said, Project Confrontation is being kind of developed by people who are more passionate about SOCOM and are not necessarily in such a rush to just go ahead and throw it up on a store for everybody just to consume so that they can get some more Skrilla to keep the thing going.
You just used the word Skrilla on this podcast?
And to be honest with you, I thought it was quite spicy, and I really dig that. And I know that the founder, Sour Patch, one of the initial videos that he did with Big Fry, he was very honest and forthcoming about his history of SOCOM, his roots, his passions, and it was very evident with what I saw at that time, that he was somebody that was gonna, you know, develop something whether anybody gave a shit or not. And he was just going to be like, fuck you, this is my thing, and if you guys want to enjoy it, go ahead and enjoy it. But in the meantime, just know that, I'm a SOCOMer just like everybody else.
I
And
do
I'm
really
here.
respect that about their team, that they're just like, we like Confrontation, that's
Yep.
the game we're going after, and
Yep.
we know some of you guys really want SOCOM, or SOCOM 2, and that might make you never respect us, and we're fine with that.
And at the same time, every one of them have also been on record. We actually had some of the folks on that team come out and play with us on XLINK, which is more than I can say for a lot of fucking people for HHOUR. But
Yeah.
to be honest with you, these guys are just like, you know what? Yes, this may be the project itself might be more focused towards a confrontation style game, but at the same time, this is what we want. This is what we're going to develop. We also believe that this is something that you're going to enjoy, and some of the things that are in there that you don't enjoy, that's fine too, but we're going to go ahead and develop anyways because this is what we're passionate about. And you know what? That's what it's all about. It's about keeping it real.
And I think that'll go a long way for them.
Yeah, I definitely.
Absolutely.
I'm keeping my eyes on Project Confrontation now and then. When it comes to that, and when it comes to HHOUR, until the day that HHOUR, if it ever comes, makes it to PS4, I can't really keep up with those games on a playing angle because my PC is not up to snuff. And
Mine isn't either. And
for that reason,
some of us don't have access to some of their content or their websites and stuff. So we're not really going to stick too much on that topic. But I know I've also gone on record by saying, Tom, if you want to go ahead and give us a product to test and give you some reviews and some feedback, we've always been forthcoming with being able to do that for you. So just go ahead and reach out.
It is about time I make a third HHOUR video.
Sure. I mean, I heard you guys got a lot of good things in the works. Unfortunately, I've never been able to see any of the updates, and I also heard that they took away the comments. So I'm kind of dismayed about that a little bit. But at the same time, it is what it is, and I wish them all the best.
Yeah, my main focus though is definitely going to be XLINK for the near future. In terms
Absolutely.
of my actual contribution to anything, and me actually just playing it at all.
Just being present and accounted for. And you know what? SOCOM on the PS2 is being played in 2017, and it's a good time.
I mean, not only is it being played, but have you guys noticed I'm not the only person uploading SOCOM content now? Like, there's a few different people from the XLINK community that are also uploading YouTube videos.
Absolutely. I've seen people uploading Combined Assault videos, SOCOM Online videos, Combined Assault Online. You're even seeing some old SOCOM 1 footage. A lot of stuff's being resurfaced and necroed from the YouTube labyrinths and stuff, and it's been great. I love going down those memory lanes.
I've been noticing, I find it like the recommended videos on YouTube are actually I'm really liking them now because I'll just find random videos from people I've never heard of about the series, just in general, like a small, not like a retrospective or anything, just like a video like, hey, I used to play this. This is a pretty cool series. And they'll have like 30,000 views, and I don't even know who these people are, but it's really cool to just happen upon that stuff.
SOCOM fans are in the woodwork, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're all waiting for it.
I've said this to a few people, but I swear I have a spidey sense. Like every now and then I'll get a tingle to go check Twitch, and sure enough I'll see the following, like the games that I'm following, and I'll see like SOCOM 2 pop up, and I'm like, oh, who's streaming this? It's just some random person I don't know. And then I'll check in there, and they're playing, and I'll follow them, and I'll talk to them, and I'm like, hey, how long you been streaming this? And they'd be like, day or two. And they're like, oh, okay.
But what's funny though is I can't recommend that highly more enough, but head on over to Twitch, throw it up in the search bar, and you'll see people streaming it all the time. And you know what? Just hop in and just get involved.
I mean, a shameless plug for myself. If you go to Twitch and you look up JP Tawok, I stream our community nights every Wednesday and Friday. Saturdays are optional. Sometimes there's SOCOM, sometimes there's NOCOM. But if you toss me a follow, you'll find out when I do it.
There you go. And if he's not streaming, guess what? People still playing every.
And this motherfucker here, Skimask, just got his capture card, and he's going to be streaming too.
Yep. And I gotta tell you what, we're gonna be organizing. More folks like ourselves want to play with bigger groups that want to do the deeper sets. We want to play tournaments. We want to get people involved. We want to have a good fucking time again.
I heard your Minnesota accent on that one. The
Good,
tournament.
Good, because I love to talk shit, so come on out and bring it. I mean, I'm the Pollock and I'll be your Huckleberry.
Well, boys, should we put a lid on it?
That might be a good idea.
Sure.
Alright, guys, I think it's about time to wrap up the first episode of the Spicy Sausage.
Absolutely, it is 3 a.m. where I am. Well, 3:02, and I am fed up and tired.
Appreciate you all coming out.
We're all filled up with spicy sausage.
Well, now you've gone and made it weird. This is done.
I'm not filled with anything.
Episode 1, more like series finale.
Great. I'm glad we could make this this one episode.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you guys. On the other side.
So there it is, boyos, the first slice of the spicy sausage. You can find myself, Mr.Blonde, and Skimask on therealsocom.com and right here on YouTube. Our goal is to get you a spicy cast once a week with uploads on Friday. From all of us at the Spicy Sausage, I'd like to thank you for listening to us croon about a dead game. Good night, and God bless, my friends.
Easy mother.
Very close to that 1,000 point. I screwed up. Man.
Good job, dude.
See.